The 7-year itch blew the lid off 1950s conservatism.
Hey, wait a minute!
It shocked audiences with its irreverent look at marital infidelity.
I mean, I wouldn't be lying on the floor in the middle of the night in some man's apartment drinking champagne if he wasn't married.
And showcased Marilyn Monroe in her most sexually suggestive role to date.
Let me just go put something on. I'll go into the kitchen and get dressed.
The kitchen?
Yes, when it's hot like this, you know what I do? I keep my undies in the icebox.
Marilyn Monroe has been called the greatest sexual icon of the 20th century.
She was the sexual icon of her particular time and became, I think, the sex star of the century.
She could make you do anything in the world from that big screen.
Many people in the 1950s were shocked by Monroe's behavior and sexual prowess.
Said, what has Marilyn Monroe got that a million other women have and prefer not to show?
Well, it's pretty vulgar if you ask me.
However, she was used as a change agent to help catapult our nation into the free sex movement of the 1960s.
I have a message for your wife.
You can see those early signs of changing values.
I'd like to stay here with you tonight. I'd like to sleep here.
I think it's very nice, but I'd rather it were me.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Very nice. Some girl.
Monroe attributed her ability to affect the public to other entities that would inhabit her and take her over. She was known for entering into deep trances before each scene. One of Monroe's close personal psychics recalled how she would draw attention from the spirit world, asking for their guidance.
When she saw a camera, any camera, she lit up and was totally different. The moment the shot was over, she fell back into her not very interesting position. And I don't know how to explain that.
That old black magic has me in its spell.
When describing the acting phenomena that described her, the tortured Monroe attested to someone else working in her.
Jekyll and Hyde, more than two. I'm so many people. They shock me sometimes. I wish it was just me.
Don't fight it. Relax.
Marilyn Monroe compared herself and her work to that of a siren. In Greek mythology, a siren was a woman that would present herself as irresistibly pleasing to the senses and lure men passing by to their deaths. Monroe's films and exhibitionist attitudes indeed lured many men to their spiritual deaths.
These commands and this teaching will keep you away from the immoral woman, from the smooth tongue of an adulterous woman. Don't lust for her beauty. Don't let her coyness seduce you. For a prostitute will bring you to poverty, and sleeping with another man's wife may cost you your life. Listen to me, my sons, and pay close attention to my words. Don't let your heart stray away toward her. Don't wander down her wayward path, for she has been the ruin of many. Numerous men have been her victims. Her house is the road to the grave. Her bedroom is the den of death. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lead straight to the grave, for she does not care about the path to life.
Like a Lorelei, flaunting her charms as she lured men on and on to their eternal destruction. Eternal destruction. Eternal destruction.
The first video that we had focused on violence, and it categorically showed that violence does in fact influence the youth. In fact, decade-long studies have shown clearly that violence will make children more aggressive if they watch it on TV over and over again. That debate's over. In fact, people that have done it say there's no need even studying it anymore. We know that it's true. Now, if that's true, we have to say that all other genres affect too, because now it's a house of cards. Our brains are not genre specific. You can't just say, well, violence influences my kid, but not portrayals of sex or drugs or cheating or lying or stealing or these different things. They all do.
I'm Mike Wallace. Sometimes it's hard to pinpoint just when a social revolution begins.
Today Crowley is gone, but the spirits behind his principles are still at work to seduce the youth right out from underneath the noses of their parents.
In the case of the sexual revolution, many dated in 1961. Beginning then, relations between the sexes changed radically. More people began having sex before marriage. They had sex at a younger age. The divorce rate soared. Men and women could talk about sex openly. There was a new frankness about homosexuality. All of this, it has been said, a social revolution. And it was inevitable that the free-loved and liberated sex of the counterculture became keystones for the mainstream pop culture.
The 1960s witnessed a topsy-turvy occult infiltration based on the mechanics of Crowley's axiom, do what thou wilt. The 1960s movement specifically affected the youth of the country and spawned the eclectic hippie movement that has put on a different social mask in our day. After the foundation had been laid through the 1950s and most of the nation was ready for revolution, Satan turned up the heat in the 1960s and set into motion his plan of deceiving the hearts of the nation.
We're in the very throes of a new satanic age. The evidence is all around us. All we have to do is look at it.
After the Church of Satan was established, Anton LaVey opened a film office where he could instruct and guide popular filmmakers. LaVey specifically targeted Hollywood to become his primary means for satanic evangelism. Quick to participate, many celebrities were devout, outspoken supporters for the Church of Satan and its causes. Kim Novak, Jane Mansfield, Tina Louise, and Sammy Davis Jr. are a few who openly lent their fame to the satanic agenda in the 1960s.
We are superior by the imagination, the creativity that is the heart and the very soul of the Satanist.
Anton LaVey praised the work that celebrities have done for Satan's kingdom.
You've got quite a legacy of satanic writers, film producers, and directors who have made their own packs. They've proven themselves to be cunning, wit, and courage beyond the best of their time.
These people that have sold their souls for fame, power, and fortune are being used to push the New Age philosophies, or as what Anton LaVey refers to as the new satanic religion. Sammy Davis Jr. was a notable actor in Hollywood and most well known for his then risque Rat Pack shows. Anton LaVey declared, Sammy Davis Jr. was a dear friend and often put himself on the line when it was professionally hazardous to do so. He brought many influential persons into the Church of Satan and shared his own personal life with me. He was a sensitive, articulate, and very satanic individual. During his Rat Pack shows, Davis would use the stage as a podium to plug psychics and praise the mysterious messages he received through them from the other side. Another actress of the 1960s was Jane Mansfield. She also enveloped herself in witchcraft and black magic and was escalated to the position of high priestess within the Church of Satan. More than anything else, Mansfield wanted success as a movie star. LaVey recalled telling Mansfield that her dreams were attainable through satanic power. The devil has supreme power on this earth, he said. If you want anything here, the devil can give it to you if you join him. Mansfield became one of the most popular and talked about actresses of the 1950s and 1960s. Her movies were replete with risque sex and immorality for her day.
I wasn't a stranger to permitting my bust to be photographed. I had already done that. Here's the Playboy issue, which shows the movie I was in, Promises, Promises. It showed just about everything that Jane Mansfield had to show.
Mansfield sold out to the principles of the Satanic Bible and expressed them in her films. LaVey says, Jane was very proud of the fact that if she liked something enough, she would commit it to memory. At the time, the Satanic Bible was still in monograph form. Jane had pored over those pages until she knew most of it by heart.
10 females to each male, 10 females to each male.
Peter was absolutely brilliant on the first take.
Peter Sellers was a struggling actor whose career was on the rocks until he embraced demonic power. After selling his soul, he became the highest paid actor in Hollywood.
The second take, he was even better.
With 3 new Pink Panther adventures, all of which attained colossal box office success. Sellers, the has-been, was once again one of the world's highest paid performers.
Listen, Ferry, do you sell beer here too?
Among other things, yes.
Peter Sellers admits that he was possessed by the very spirits the Bible forbids when he was acting in his performances. It's rather like being a medium and laying yourself wide open and saying, I want a character to inhabit my body, or I want a spirit to take charge of me so that I can produce what I hope to produce.
Well, I try and keep this young man happy.
Star Trek is a cultural icon, and it's part of the lexicon now.
Replete with New Age iconography, the Star Trek shows categorically deal with issues such as telekinesis, mental telepathy, atheism, psychic phenomena, channeling, mind transference, entities cohabiting the same body, and other occult themes and ideologies that were strung throughout the series. The creator of the rage, Gene Roddenberry, is responsible for much of the current space-age mania that has become ingrained within the culture today.
Star Trek's a way of life, man. It's a good way of life. It teaches us all.
Not surprisingly, Roddenberry had zero regard for Christ and was dead set on establishing a new age of thought that countered Scripture with his cinema creations.
In fact, Roddenberry recalled his Christian upbringing with disdain. I had never really paid much attention to the church sermon before. I was more interested in the deacon's daughter and what we might be doing between services. I listened to the sermon, and I remember complete astonishment because what they were talking about were things that were just crazy. Roddenberry bought into the New Age lie that we could become gods and expressed these thoughts through characters and stories on his shows. Roddenberry said, "It's not the Judeo-Christian God. Creating Star Trek was a very spiritual experience. It's my world. It's that divinity in us that we call God."